So, uh, I guess the first question I have for you
Hmm.
is that why does this sports person have
Hmm.
us, or for that matter, has had us in a chokehold for as long as we can remember?
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't really have a relation with him. Like, there is no reason for us to be in this chokehold, and obviously, he doesn't have a clue about our existence other than the
Yeah.
fact that we are fans, of which he has 2
Yeah.
billions, millions, or whatever.
Yeah. I honestly, it's so intangible. I don't understand why. Like, it's he's so different to the kind of elite sports person archetype that we usually think appeals to the masses. You know, is shy, reserved, doesn't care about anything except for playing. And I don't know. It's so hard to say why. I'll give you an example, okay? But this whole shy, timid image that he has, one of the most underrated moments of his career. I don't know if you'll remember this, but I think it was April 2013 when we were playing PSG in the Champions League. This is before Bayern completely wrecked us, by the way. Um, but he was injured, and I think he was on the bench initially. And Pastore, he scored for PSG. Ideally, we would have seen them off. There was no reason to bring him on. He was clearly not fit. I just remember Ekta had stayed up till what 2-3 a.m. to watch this on a
Usual.
school, as usual.
Yeah.
And you see him the entire time, like when the game is going on, every chance the cameraman gets to pan to him, they take it. And he's just sitting there nervously biting his nails. It's like he's not fit, but he's itching to go out. And as soon as Pastore's goal hits the back of the net, he doesn't look at anybody else, just starts pulling his socks up, gets up, starts to warm up. He's like, I'm out there no matter what. And then he came on, and then obviously he changed the game. I think Pedro's goal, he had a big part in.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like this limping little 5'7" guy who's, he could just say, oh, I'm not fit. I don't need to kill myself over this. Yeah, and he's just like, you could have said, this is not my cup of tea. Like, they should be able to handle this without me. He's like, no, I want to be out there. I will die for my teammates. And now, 13 years later since that moment, you see that same attitude in a 39-year-old Messi for his national team.
Yeah. And I think it's that. I think it's the attitude, it's the silence of him in most situations. But then when he steps onto the field, the ability to mesmerize anyone, everyone with what he does, no matter what the situation. Like, I remember there was this interview about, there was obviously, not naming them, but 2-3 of these big players, they were debating, oh, would you bring on a certain player in the 80th, 90th minute, or would you bring on this in the 90th minute? And my thing is that, okay, just as an audience, loyalty, winning, losing aside, just as an audience, I would watch him for those 10 minutes. I would rather watch him for those 10 minutes.
And the thing is, if you weren't watching the game until that point, if you knew he was coming on, if you got a notification saying, hey, oh, he's coming on, I would switch the TV on just for that.
Yeah, fair dues. I mean, luckily, I think for us, he's played for the teams we've supported, or we've also by default supported the teams he's played for later in the career. So we've always switched it on for him.
It's like there is this unnatural sense of every time he's on the ball, there's anticipation, and I feel like it's so rare to have that in sports. It's like
for so long.
For so long, exactly. For so long. And we always say now, like over the past 4 or 5 years since the last World Cup, there has been this discourse about how his teammates are willing to die for him. And nobody's ever, like, obviously people have talked about why, But I feel like the biggest reason is because he's also willing to die for them. And I don't think
Exactly.
we talk about that enough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just a case, like, I have never heard him say, I did this, this was done for me. It's always we, us, our team, our group. It's insane, like how somebody can be this sort of unaware in a good way about who they are.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, this goes under the radar so much because people just always look at him as a silent guy. But there's,
Yeah.
like, now with all your reels and everything that comes up, you see all of these clips where, off camera, which is not obviously shown during a broadcast. Like, the last match, he's telling Simeone to do it. Or
Yeah.
when Dembele was struggling, he was telling Dembele. Like, these things where he's always involved with every player to
Yeah.
make sure that they're also sort of competing and he's competing with
Yeah.
them rather than it being a case of you for me for you or anything of that sort. I think that's what you've gotten bang on, that the teammates are ready to die for him, but that's also because he's ready to die for them.
Exactly. And I don't remember if you, I don't know if you saw the clip of the celebrations after Lautaro's goal in that England semi-final. As soon as the ball hit the net, the entire dugout rushed to Messi, swarmed him out in the celebration. He wasn't visible. And Lautaro naturally started running towards where he was to try and find him.
Yeah.
He was also mobbed for scoring the goal. And then he sort of broke out of the mob and just frantically is looking about to find where Messi is. And then when he finally sees him in the mob, you see like this, his face lights up,
yeah.
like, oh, there you are. He's
Yeah.
like, he point. And then he charges towards him to celebrate. It's just so beautiful. And I always say, like, with him, take away every single accolade, take away every single metric of how we usually measure greatness in sports. Take away the trophies, the individual awards, the statistics, everything. And just in a vacuum, watch what he does on the pitch in 90 minutes.
Yeah.
In any game. Forget the magnitude of the game. Like, on a week-to-week basis, I've been getting clips on my Instagram of random performances in the league against Bilbao. A performance in the 2011 Super Cup against Real Madrid. Obviously, high-profile game. But then just random games against Villarreal, Getafe, Malaga. And you just see every time he's on the ball, there's fear. Like, there's
Proper fear.
And there's anticipation in the crowd. Like, you want to get on the edge of your seat because you know something is happening. Like, there's going to be a chance created. There's going to be a moment where he maybe drops 2 or 3 defenders and goes like, wow.
I'll tell you what. So, as a kid, when you're sitting in the backseat of a car, it's a rainy day, and you're looking out the window because, again, as kids, you don't really have much to do otherwise. And you see this droplet start at the top of your window, at the top of the window, sorry, and you're rooting for it to reach the bottom without merging into any other droplet. And weirdly enough, for me, it is how he plays, where it's like this droplet is going past every bigger, tinier, smaller, whatever obstruction or droplet there is, and it's reaching the bottom. Like, it's that magical. Like, it's inexplicable. Like, you really can't.
And this is a good analogy because his movements have always been described as fluid, but I don't think that does it enough justice.
Exactly, yeah.
Because he literally slashes his way through everything, but with so much grace. I don't know if you've seen like those ribbons that they use in like some Asian dance forms, but basically they're just and it's like you don't understand how it's happening, but it just looks so pleasing on the eye.
Yes, there is a little the ZNMD thing.
Exactly, and every single time if that's happening, when you're on the ball, I feel like there is something so unquantifiable about it that it's basically art. It is. There is no other way to describe it.
And I think the most recent, obviously we have millions of examples to sort of get. The most recent, the second goal against Egypt. He has no right to hit it with grace, power and precision Like
Yeah.
that goal, man. There's no way you can control that volley.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, you can go on for hours and hours, but I'm kind of sort of thinking of how did your journey with watching him start, and how has, like, basically how are you in this position sitting, like how are we here sitting discussing
Yeah.
this him.
I know, yeah. I think my first memory, I would have to say, was so I was watching football on and off since 2006 is the earliest I can remember. Just whatever used to be on TV. But I didn't really fully get into it till maybe 2010. And then, since I think 2010, there was... that's when I started playing football. And then in India you don't have much of a choice with the teams you get to watch on TV. Like broadcast of European leagues wasn't a big thing back then. I know you could only watch like Bundesliga highlights twice a week on Star Sports or something like that. But yeah, Barca, Madrid, Chelsea, United were kind of the only big teams you could see. And it was like I used to watch whatever game I could whenever I could. And these were like replays of games because obviously at that point, who's going to let you stay up that late to watch them live? You were like a 10, 11-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And you just... I think the first game, I'll have to look this up actually.
While you do that, I think that's a great point because we became fans and we started watching in an era where the only way you could watch it was either live or as a replay. There were no reels, there was no mass reporting or whatever you call it, like Twitter, all of that wasn't there. Even if
there
YouTube
were no
was...
highlights packages.
Yeah, like even if YouTube was there, we weren't allowed to use it.
Yeah.
It was either watch it on TV or don't watch it at all.
Yeah. I think I remember. So it was this game against Almeria in 2010, the league. I think he got a hat-trick and also I think 2 assists. At that point, your judgment of a player was very limited, and you're like, oh, if this player scores goals, then he's great.
Yeah.
Like all the intangibles sort of you figure out as you go through your fandom and realize how important the other elements of his games are. But yeah, he scored a hat-trick in that game, and I don't know, it was just like he was so unstoppable. The commentators were gushing about him, and I think after that I was like, okay, you know what, this guy seems interesting. Like, wow, it just, you go wow, right? It's stripping it down to the basics, the bare basics of football and say art also. It's like you see something and you go wow, and you know that it's resonated with you for whatever reason. I don't think it's easy to explain how it happens, but yeah, I think like from there is where it started, and then 2011, obviously, few months after this game, they won the Champions League against United in what many say is the greatest ever performance by a football team in any game ever.
I mean, even they say that, the United players.
Sir Alex said it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's where it began. And from there on, it's like it just kept going upwards and upwards. And another reason, coming back to your original point, is why is he so special is because you're investing this time. Like early on, you're spending 2 hours in front of the TV, sitting, watching the entire game to see what he's doing and seeing if he's going to impress you. He did. And as you went forward in your life, as you grew up, you kept watching him, you developed this emotional investment to the team and to the player. I don't recall a singular game where I've been like, oh shit, he disappointed me.
Yeah, I swear.
I'm sure there were games that obviously he's had bad games.
Yeah, of course, as everyone.
But having built up that reputation, that like even when he has a bad game, you are finding excuses for him because you know that something spectacularly, like that day something has just gone spectacularly wrong. Because I remember this clip of Steph Curry. He was warming up before a game, and he's dribbling the ball between his legs, and there's a dead spot on the court, and he loses his dribble, and immediately he realizes,
goes back.
wrong with the code.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not,
Yeah.
and that is a kind of reputation he's built up.
Mm.
Like, there will be 99 things that have gone wrong before he has gone wrong.
Yeah.
And us being biased also, but I just think it's the truth because I can't remember shutting off the TV, like switching off the TV after a Messi game and being like, you know what, I didn't enjoy that.
No, I swear, dude. I think it's that. It's like, okay, we've had the worst losses. Like, I think we know better than anyone, and everyone else has reminded us often. We've had some of the worst losses as the football club, but even then, in every match, if you like you said, right, like even after the match, you're like, okay, he had a terrible match, but he still was better than most players on their best day.
On the, yeah, exactly.
He'll do a couple of things that are just like, okay, yeah, obviously the loss hurts, everything else, but how did he manage to do that?
Yeah.
And
those moments you way more than anything else.
yeah, and it's I mean, honestly, like if you why him and what makes him so special, it's just getting up. It's just getting up every time. Like you look at how hard he's been tackled, you look at so many videos of how people have literally gone out to kill him. He doesn't care. He'll get up, he'll look for the ball. He'll get up, he'll look for the ball. And I think it's that, like, yeah, obviously you can there's so many conversations about how he quit in after missing a penalty, this that, but my point is, yeah, and he came back, he lost again, and then he won again, and then he won everything.
Yeah, and I think what people forget to realize is they always focus on him quitting, and then the 2022 final where he won, which obviously, you know, everybody has their takes on everything that came after 2021 onwards, but people tend to forget that he retired from international football. I think obviously, first of all, very emotional decision in a very emotional moment. I feel like if he could go back, he probably wouldn't give that press conference the way he did. I think deep down he also knew that it's not over. Obviously, he just needed to pull it over and then digest all the heartbreaks that have happened in such a close span of time. And then, but what people crucially forget is after the retirement and after he came back, he still lost twice.
Yeah, he still lost twice.
He lost twice in heartbreaking fashion, and then he still kept going.
Yeah, and I mean, come on, honestly, who are we kidding? The best of us have quit, have thought about quitting, have had moments where we've given up. But my point is, he always gets back. I think that is what has, personally for me, and I'm pretty sure for you and many others, it's that it's always getting back up. And I mean, so I'm sure this theory has a name and whatever out there, or maybe it has been discussed, but to me, for me, with him, I call it the there's no way theory.
Yeah.
Like, I think people hold on to certain aspects of him because they're like, there's no way this guy is so good. There has to be a fault. It's like when we go to a restaurant that has been spoken about so much, we'll hunt for little problems because there's no way this restaurant is so good.
Yeah.
Similarly, there's no way this player is so good.
There has to be something wrong with him.
Yeah, and obviously there's going to be. I mean, come on.
He's a human at the end of the day, although we have plenty of evidence to the contrary, but...
I mean, his penalty taking proves that, so...
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a Michelin star chef can't make a cheese sandwich. But I saw a thread from 2019 in an interview. He is talking about the aftermath of the loss to France in 2018. Obviously, that was a great game for a neutral. Like, in terms of football game, it was quite the spectacle.
Yeah.
But for us as fans, it was heartbreaking. But yeah, he said, talking about the national team after the World Cup was difficult because the France match was such a huge blow. I had to lock myself away and distance myself a bit from everything, including the national team.
Yeah.
Which is why, again, rumors started circulating about him stepping down from the national team. And basically, one of the quotes in that interview just absolutely broke me. And he said, my 6-year-old son is asking me why they want to kill me.
Yeah.
My family is suffering, my loved ones are suffering. I'm always the bastard, and even I think at one point Maradona also made like critical comments about him, even though he has defended him plenty. But it was always the stain on his legacy, right? That he doesn't bleed the same way for Argentina that he does for the national team. And I'm like, how can you look at the performances he put up for you? Let's give you the benefit of doubt, 2014 onwards, and say that he doesn't bleed for the national team the same way. And to bounce back from something like this, they're burning effigies of him in his hometown, in the capital city of Argentina, all over the country. They've bastardized him, and to come back from that and get to where he is now, I think it's just such a remarkable story of resilience. And I think in many ways it's pushed us to keep going also.
Yeah, so it's actually, funnily enough, he said something. So today they had this whole conference type thingy with Novak and everyone, right? And I don't think it's the first time he said it, because either I've heard him say it or someone else say it. But he said to Novak, you always lose more than you win. And I think the maturity that sort of we've seen from his interviews about, in 2014-15 when he used to be angry, emotional and all of that, to come here and say this, and then thinking about how personally it is sort of something that we look up to. Yeah, you lose more. Yeah. Every day you lose more. There'll probably be a win here and there. But it's the losses that build towards, I mean, all of that faff. But it's that, right? Like, I think that's what makes him so special.
Yeah, and up until, I mean, even now, I think, at this moment in time, this is one day before the 2026 World Cup final. But at this moment in time, he is still the player with the most international finals losses in history, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And losing 4 in a row to now being able to win 4 in a row tomorrow. Obviously, that would be remarkable, it would be poetic, it would be like a fairy tale. But I think since he started winning, we've really forgotten how much he's lost and how much he's suffered on the international stage. And even on the tour, I mean.
Let's not...
you lose more than you win. The prime example of that, because we were speaking about Djokovic there, is the 2019 Wimbledon final where 2 championship points down against Federer. And even like when that match ended, if you look at the stats, Federer had 1 more total points, but he lost the match.
Yeah.
And I think that's how Messi's overall career is going to be looked at once he's done, which unfortunately is very near, is that he has got so many losses built up, but it's the moments of victory that have had so much magnitude that they will define his legacy, at least for us.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah, 100%. I think I'm with you. A slight change of pace, but just as we were discussing, a thought came to mind. I would go as far as to say that he is the reason we are friends and we are sitting here talking today.
Absolutely. He is. Yeah, because at that point, I mean, on a larger scale, when you zoom out, it's obviously football as a sport.
Yeah.
But then for us, he embodies that sport. And the whole reason we planned that trip in 2019, honestly, I feel like that was the happiest we've ever been as football fans till 20. Like 3 years were just suffering because we went to Spain to see that game against Lyon in the Champions League. That season was going so well. We were on track for a treble. And then the Liverpool collapse happened at Anfield.
Of course.
And it went downhill from there. And to think about it, it's crazy. Like, he has been the reason for us being the only example we know, but I'm sure there are millions of people out there like us who are close, deep friends because of him.
I swear, dude. I mean, honestly, I have zero memory of, your bloody 2000 when we gave our board exams and studying and this and that. But when he celebrated that goal and we were jumping and shouting, it's so clear in front of my eyes that I don't think I can ever, I mean, obviously you can never forget it, but I don't think I can ever even miss a single element of that series of events.
Yeah. I still remember around us in the stands, the people like who complete strangers, obviously, the people were sitting beside, but I still can picture the flags they were holding, the shirts they were wearing, the kind of even like the people in our immediate vicinity. I even remember the phones they had.
Yeah. I swear, dude. And when everyone started shouting Messi, Messi, those goosebumps they're just never gonna go away.
Yeah, and I think I can't help but think about how crazy the timing was. Obviously, this is less about Messi and more about us, but we decided to do this in 2018. We went there in 2019. And if we had delayed it even by a few months,
Yeah.
we would have never got to see him in a Barca shirt, because obviously COVID happened.
Yeah.
Then stuff just went down the gutter. And then he ended up leaving,
Yeah.
which was one of the darkest days for us as fans. And then we had literally no joy in the sport. Like nothing to celebrate, rather. Obviously, the sport will always give us joy, but nothing to celebrate till he won the World Cup in 2022. So it's kind of crazy how our biggest moments of celebrations from 2019 to 2022 both hinge on him.
Yeah, I swear, dude. And forget that, like now that I'm thinking, even after 2022, like we started living together, we were living for a year. We spent our birthday watching the entire run. Like that was like we timed it so that the victory would come at 12 o'clock, and when basically we rang in our birthday, like the France match. And I'm just reminded, I remember like towards the end of before I was going to come back, like obviously I was not in a very good moment, and but I think we had a bank holiday or something, and I just woke up. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch all of his goals today. I switched on the TV. You came in the next moment, and we spent an entire morning just watching every single goal he scored.
What is it like? It was like a 2-hour video.
Yeah, 2-hour video, best 2 hours of my life.
Yeah, 2 hours or maybe even more, and we were just sat in front of the TV, haven't had breakfast, haven't done anything. Literally woke up first thing in the morning and just sat there for 2 hours watching that video.
Yeah, and like I think after that things felt okay, like in general, like both of us, like I think our day was just better.
Yeah, I know. And this exactly comes back to my point. Like, have you ever watched him and gone like, oh my god, I'm disappointed?
Yeah, there's no.
Like in him specifically.
Even
Never,
bias aside.
Yeah, he has never let me down, man. He has genuinely never let me down. And obviously, that period for you was a challenging time. And then when I first started watching him a few years after that, it was a very challenging period in my life. But I still turn to the games I watched then.
Yeah.
And I'm still so happy.
Yeah, I swear.
Like the memories of those moments are what got me through. Like those moments themselves that he provided to us, those got me through those times about a decade or so ago. And then now, even like a decade on, whenever I reminisce on the bad moments, they're automatically gushed over by those memories of him, which then reminds me, you know what, I got through it then, I'll get through it now.
Exactly. And I don't think a lot of people, if anyone even reaches this point of or listens to us for this long, I don't think a lot of people are going to get it. I don't think you can explain it, honestly. I think obviously everyone has their own versions of things they hold on to and stuff, but I don't think anyone could have put it better than how you have, where you're like, that bad moment you turn to something, and now whenever you look back, that gushes over and just sort of replaces that bad moment. I mean, I don't think, like I said, I don't think it could have been put better.
And I think the craziest thing is, in like a decade on, more than a decade, 12 years on, he's still providing us with new moments this year. That anything that's happening to us this year that's going to bring us down or make us feel sad, angry, or whatever, disappointed, you're going to have these moments to have have as ointment over those wounds.
I swear, dude, who would have thought? Who would have thought? And I'm so glad we're doing this, because this isn't about anything else but just the fact that we know that it's gonna be his last match. It doesn't matter what the result is, where it goes. I mean, obviously it matters in that sense, but it's the last time we actually get to see him play, and we know that it's going to be the last time.
Yeah, I think so. This is why everybody, I think, is going out to a pub or something to watch it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm staying at home.
Sanctuary.
I'm being in my sanctuary because I want to savor every time he's on the ball.
Yeah.
And it's such a happy day. Like it's so sad when you think about it, but for me, it's an incredibly happy day.
Same. I don't think there's going to be. I mean, obviously there's going to be sadness, but I don't think it's going to be the kind of sadness I would have felt if he would have sort of retired after 22.
Yeah.
I think somehow, I mean, even then, now it doesn't matter, but I think somehow the fact that he's done it now is just making it so much sweeter.
Yeah, and I think we should spend maybe 2 minutes just talking about this year and like this generational run at 39. Because I think it's abnormal.
It is
absolutely abnormal for him to be doing this at this age.
At this age, knowing his limitations in terms of physicalities and everything, he gets the ball, you can see that the players around him are trembling. You know they're panicking even at this age. Like, okay, there has been obvious degradation in terms of pace. You can see he loses the ball a bit more. His walking's always been a thing. But the moment he gets the ball, you can see that there's panic.
There's still gravity. Like, he may it, but the fact is that no team is willing to take the chance.
Yeah. Obviously, who would?
They want to send 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, players his way. And that gravity then opens up space for his teammates even to this day. And fine, in 5 such occasions, if he loses the ball 4 times, the 5th time is still going to be deadly for the opposition. And to have that kind of influence on games at this age is ridiculous.
And I think it's been that, like even against Egypt, even against England for that matter, he kept crossing, putting the ball in, driving it forward. Yeah, and he lost the ball, blah blah blah. But even when he was losing the ball, it was magical. It's like you almost think he can pull it off now.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
And to think about it, these wingers in the modern game that, obviously the market is different now. You're paying 120 million for every player that comes around. But you see these, top-rated, massive signings who are playing on the flank and they can't get a single accurate cross into the box. And then you see this granddad, just one of his deliveries is like a heat-seeking missile. It's just causing panic near the 6-yard. It's just far enough away from the defender and just far enough away from the keeper to cause panic. And to have that kind of consistency.
And Ank has played in the MLS for, like, taking nothing away from a league. It's a football league, of course, whatever they play at, whatever level they play at. But you know that it doesn't match the levels of every other league, right? And to have played there and to have just come into this World Cup and been like, you know what? I'm still going to top the charts in every department.
Yeah. It's insane. It's so intangible. Like, it is impossible to describe the kind of feeling you get when you watch him. And I'm just
even 15 years later, man.
15 years, 16 years later.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad we get to do it one more time. I remember I used to always, whenever he used to have like a great game, I used to clip up like the newspaper headlines from that day. I remember my favorite possession is from when he scored the hat-trick against Madrid in El Clasico. I don't remember when it was, 2014-ish, but the 4-3 Clasico.
4-3,
Yeah, where Iniesta also scored, but wow, like that game also so good. It's just there are so many of these moments and so many. There's so much memorabilia that I've physically collected because of.
And here.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't know if there's anything else left to say.
I think the only thing left to say is Gracias.
Yeah, honestly. Like, we cannot thank him enough for coddling us all these years. And been so shitty over the past 16 years in so many ways at so many points. But for an athlete who we don't know personally, he doesn't know us.
Or have any affiliation. Argentinian player who used to play for Barcelona. Like, we have nothing to do with it.
Like honestly, this kind of investment is unhealthy.
Yeah.
But that's the funny irony of it, is that unhealthy love we've had for him and the kind of stuff he's given us unknowingly in return. Like, it's not like this guy's paid our school fees, he's not fed us, he's done nothing for us.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just the nature of sports. But what he's given us is so intangible but so important that this unhealthy obsession has actually given us our happiest moments and
I
has gotten
swear.
our lowest of lows.
Yeah, you can't describe joy unless you're a Messi fan.
Yeah.